Before you try to relax, let me ask you something quietly. What if the calm you're searching for is not something you need to learn, but something you once knew, long before noise became normal? Tonight, you don't need to focus. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to listen, because long before cities, clocks, or written words, ancient trees were already standing, watching, adapting, remembering time in ways the human mind has forgotten. And those same forests still exist, quietly offering the kind of calm that doesn't fade when the video ends. Welcome to the Gentle Physicist, where science slows down, nature speaks softly, and curiosity becomes rest instead of effort. In this video, you'll hear 102 ancient tree secrets, not rushed facts, not loud explanations, but gentle discoveries that unfold naturally, one after another, like walking deeper into a forest without realizing how far you've gone. You may notice your breathing change, your thoughts may soften, and without trying, you may want to keep listening, because each idea leads quietly to the next. There is no finish line here, only continuation. So get comfortable, let the forest guide the pace, and stay with me, because the first secret ancient trees share is not what you expect, and it changes how every moment after this one feels. Before human history was written, before calendars, clocks, or spoken records, forests were already standing in quiet attention. Ancient trees grew slowly while generations of people came and went, leaving behind no sound, no movement, only rings hidden beneath bark. In that silence, trees learned patience long before humans learned language. They adapted to cold seasons, dry years, storms, and sunlight without resistance or complaint, simply continuing. As you listen, imagine a forest thousands of years ago. No roads, no voices, only wind passing through branches and light moving across leaves. Each tree stood as a witness, absorbing time, not as urgency, but as rhythm. While human lives rushed forward, forests moved at a pace measured in seasons rather than seconds. This is where calm begins, not as something created, but as something practiced repeatedly over centuries. Trees did not search for peace. They embodied it through consistency. Each year added a thin layer of growth, recording survival without judgment. Difficult years became narrow rings. Gentle years became wide ones. Nothing was erased. You may notice your thoughts beginning to slow here now. That is not an accident. The human nervous system responds to patterns of stability. Forests signal safety through stillness and continuity. You are not being asked to do anything. You are simply invited to notice. If this moment feels grounding, take a moment to like the video so more people can find this quiet space. And as you settle further, remember this. In the next moment, we will explore how trees remember time without a single memory. Human life is shaped by clocks, schedules, and numbers that move forward whether we are ready or not. Trees live by a different measurement. For them, time is not counted, it is felt. A tree does not know the hour, the year, or the century. It knows only light and darkness, warmth and cold, rain and dryness. These slow signals guide every movement it makes. While humans experience time as pressure, trees experience it as flow. Growth happens only when conditions allow. When winter arrives, growth pauses without anxiety. When drought comes, trees wait rather than force progress. Nothing is wasted by rushing. Nothing is lost by waiting. Each response is gentle and exact. Tree rings quietly reveal this relationship with time. One ring forms each year not as an achievement, but as a record of presence. Some rings are wide, shaped by abundance. Others are narrow, shaped by challenge, yet each one belongs. Trees do not judge difficult years as failures. They simply include them. As you listen, notice how your own sense of time begins to soften. There is no need to hurry through this moment. Like a tree, you are allowed to exist at your own pace. Calm often arrives when urgency fades. If this slower view of time feels comforting, comment "still listening" so others know they are not alone here. And stay with this feeling, because beneath this gentle patience lies something even quieter. In the next section, we'll move below the surface and discover how trees share time and awareness through hidden connections underground. Beneath the visible calm of a forest, another world is always active. Hidden below the soil, roots stretch outward in slow motion, meeting other roots, intertwining gently, never in a hurry. Alongside them, thin threads of fungi move like quiet messengers, forming connections that link tree to tree. Nothing here is loud, nothing announces itself, and yet communication is constant. Trees do not speak with sound, they speak through exchange. A tree with extra resources shares with one that is struggling. Warnings travel silently when danger appears nearby. Support flows toward younger trees still learning how to stand. This underground language does not rely on urgency. It relies on trust built over time. Many people imagine trees as isolated beings, standing alone. In reality, forests are communities. What happens to one tree is felt by many others. This shared awareness creates stability. No single tree carries the burden of survival alone. Everything is distributed, balanced, and softened through connection. As you take this in, notice how the idea of quiet support feels in your body. Humans often search for calm by withdrawing. Forests find calm by connecting. There is reassurance in knowing that strength does not require isolation. If this hidden cooperation surprises you, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue exploring these gentle discoveries. And stay with this thought, because what trees share underground is not just nourishment. In the next section, we will explore why ancient trees rarely rush, and how their stillness becomes one of their greatest strengths. Ancient trees survive not by moving quickly, but by knowing when not to move at all. In a world that constantly changes, they respond with patience rather than speed. When conditions are favorable, they grow. When conditions are harsh, they wait. This ability to pause is not weakness. It is strategy refined over centuries. Rushing would cost too much energy. A tree that grows too fast becomes fragile. Its wood weakens. Its roots fail to anchor deeply enough. Ancient trees learned this lesson long ago. Strength for them is built through restraint. Growth happens only when it can be sustained. As seasons shift, trees adjust without resistance. Winter is not a problem to solve. It is a phase to pass through. Stillness becomes a form of protection. By slowing down, trees conserve resources, repair internal structures, and prepare quietly for renewal. Nothing is forced. Nothing is wasted. This calm rhythm sends a powerful signal to the human nervous system. Stillness communicates safety. When nothing is rushing, nothing is chasing. Your body recognizes this instinctively. Muscles soften. Breathing deepens. Attention settles. As you listen, imagine standing beside an ancient tree that has endured storms, droughts, and centuries of change. It is still here because it never hurried. It chose balance over urgency, patience over pressure. If this idea feels reassuring, take a moment to like the video so others can discover this calm pace and stay with this feeling, because stillness leads somewhere meaningful. In the next section, we'll explore what tree rings reveal about stress, survival, and recovery over time. Every tree carries a quiet record of its life beneath the surface. This record is not written in words, but in rings layered year after year inside the trunk. Each ring tells a simple truth: growth continued even when conditions were difficult. Stress was not erased. It was absorbed, adjusted to, and gently carried forward. During harsh years, when water was scarce or temperatures dropped too low, trees did not stop living. Their rings grew thinner, showing restraint rather than collapse. In kinder years, the rings widened again, signaling recovery. Nothing needed to return to how it once was. Growth simply changed shape. This rhythm holds an important lesson. Trees do not label difficult seasons as failures. They do not rush to compensate for what was lost. They accept what each year allows and respond accordingly. Stress becomes part of the structure, not something separate from it. As you listen, consider how often humans try to erase stressful periods rather than integrate them. Forests offer a different approach. Recovery does not require forgetting. It requires patience and continuity. Life resumes when conditions improve without judgment. You may feel a sense of relief here. The idea that slowing down during hard times is natural can ease internal pressure. Trees remind us that resilience does not always look strong on the outside. Sometimes it looks quiet. If this perspective feels comforting, comment "calm" so others know this moment matters. And stay with this thought, because trees do more than survive stress. In the next section, we'll explore how forests function as a collective mind, supporting life through cooperation rather than struggle. A forest is not simply a collection of individual trees. It behaves more like a shared system, where awareness is distributed rather than isolated. Older trees, rooted deeply and established over decades, quietly support younger ones nearby. They share nutrients, moderate temperature, and stabilize the soil, creating conditions where new life can grow safely. This collective balance allows forests to respond intelligently to change. When one area experiences stress, surrounding trees compensate. Resources move toward where they are needed most. Nothing is announced. Nothing is dramatic. The system adjusts through calm coordination rather than force. Many people believe nature is driven purely by competition. In forests, cooperation often determines survival. Trees that grow together thrive together. This shared intelligence reduces risk for everyone involved. No single tree must endure everything alone. As you absorb this idea, notice how your body reacts to the thought of shared support. Humans often carry stress individually, believing strength means independence. Forests offer another model. Strength can emerge from connection. Stability can be shared. This awareness softens the nervous system. When survival is not a solo task, tension releases. The mind relaxes into a sense of belonging rather than vigilance. Calm deepens when responsibility is distributed. If this perspective feels reassuring, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue exploring these gentle insights. And stay with this feeling, because forests do not communicate through sound or speed. In the next section, we'll explore why trees rely on silence, and how quiet communication becomes one of nature's most powerful tools. In a forest, silence is not emptiness. It is a working space where information moves without noise. Trees do not rely on sound because sound would travel too quickly, too harshly, disrupting balance. Instead, communication happens slowly through chemical signals, subtle shifts, and patient exchange beneath the surface. This quiet method allows messages to arrive without shock. Warnings spread gently. Support travels steadily. Nothing startles the system. Silence keeps the forest stable. It prevents panic. It allows time for thoughtful response rather than reaction. Trees have learned that speed is not always helpful. Loud signals demand immediate action. Silent signals allow choice. This creates calm decision-making across the forest. Responses unfold naturally, without urgency, without force. As you listen, notice how silence feels in your own body. There is no demand placed on you here, no instruction, no expectation. The absence of noise creates space for awareness to settle. Breathing becomes smoother. Thoughts loosen their grip. Human nervous systems evolved in environments like this. Quiet signaled safety. Sudden noise meant danger. Forest silence reassures the body that it can rest. This is why quiet natural spaces feel grounding even without explanation. If this sense of silence feels comforting, let me know in the comments so others recognize this shared experience. And remain with this calm, because silence is only part of the story. In the next section, we will explore how forests influence the human nervous system directly, teaching the body how to relax without conscious effort. When a person enters a forest, the body often responds before the mind understands why. Breathing slows, muscles release tension, the heartbeat steadies. This shift happens naturally without instruction because forests communicate safety through layered signals the nervous system recognizes instinctively. Light is softer here, filtered through leaves rather than striking directly. Sounds arrive gently, never sharply. Movement is slow and predictable. These patterns tell the body there is no immediate threat. Over time, the nervous system learned that environments like this allowed rest and recovery. That memory still lives inside us. Trees release subtle compounds into the air that humans respond to physically. These natural signals reduce stress hormones and encourage relaxation. But beyond chemistry, there is rhythm. Forests move slowly enough for the body to match their pace. Nothing demands quick decisions. Nothing interrupts abruptly. As you listen, notice how your awareness becomes wider and less focused on any single thought. This is the nervous system shifting from alertness to restoration. You're not trying to relax. You are responding to an environment that makes relaxation possible. This is why sitting among trees feels different from sitting indoors. Forests do not overload attention. They invite it to rest. Calm becomes the default rather than the goal. If your body feels heavier or more settled now, take a moment to like the video so others can experience this gentle shift, and stay with this sensation because relaxation opens the door to perspective. In the next section, we'll explore what happens when humans slow their pace enough to match the rhythm of trees. When humans slow down enough to match the pace of trees, perception begins to change. Attention spreads outward instead of rushing forward. Small details become noticeable again. The texture of bark, the movement of light, the quiet space between sounds. Nothing demands urgency. Time feels wider. At this slower speed, the mind stops jumping ahead. Thoughts arrive more gently, and many simply pass without needing response. The nervous system no longer scans for what comes next. It settles into what is already here. This shift creates a sense of ease that feels unfamiliar at first, then comforting. Trees exist entirely at the present. They respond to what is happening now, not what might happen later. When humans align with this rhythm, stress loses its grip. Planning softens. Worry fades into the background. The body recognizes that immediate survival is not required. You may notice your breathing becoming deeper without effort. Muscles that were tight begin to loosen. Awareness feels less sharp and more spacious. This is not boredom. It is balance returning. Slowing down does not mean losing direction. It means allowing the mind to recover clarity. Trees demonstrate that progress does not disappear when speed decreases. It becomes steadier, more sustainable. If this slower rhythm feels peaceful, comment here so others know they are sharing this moment with you. And remain with this pace, because slowing down reveals something important. In the next section, we'll uncover the first ancient tree secret, a truth that quietly anchors everything we've explored so far. After centuries of standing still, the first secret ancient trees offer is simple and steady. Calm is not something you need to create. It is something you remember. Trees do not search for peace. They return to it again and again by staying aligned with their natural rhythm. Nothing is forced. Nothing is rushed. Every tree grows according to what the moment allows. When conditions support expansion, growth happens. When conditions demand rest, stillness takes over. This balance is not accidental. It is the foundation of survival. Calm exists because resistance is unnecessary. Humans often believe peace must be earned through effort. Forests teach the opposite. Peace emerges when effort softens. When attention stops pushing forward, it naturally settles. Trees remain calm, not because the world is easy, but because they respond only to what is real and present. As you listen, notice how this idea feels in your body. There is relief in realizing nothing more is required of you right now. You do not need to improve this moment. You only need to remain in it. Calm becomes available when striving pauses. This is the first lesson the forest offers. Stability comes from consistency, not intensity. Time does not need to be controlled. It needs to be trusted. If this truth feels grounding, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue this journey through the forest. And stay with this feeling, because this is only the beginning. In the next chapter, we'll move deeper beneath the forest floor, where roots and soil hold older knowledge about connection, support, and unseen strength. Beneath every step taken in a forest, a hidden world is quietly alive. While the surface appears calm and still, below it lies a layered system of roots, soil, moisture, and movement. This underground space is not empty. It is carefully organized, slow, and responsive. Nothing here happens suddenly. Everything unfolds with patience. Roots extend gently through the soil, sensing changes in temperature, water, and pressure. They do not force their way forward. They explore, pause, and adjust. Around them, microorganisms and fungi form living pathways, allowing energy and information to travel without disturbance. This unseen cooperation creates stability above ground. Most of the forest's work happens here, out of sight. Strength begins underground before it ever becomes visible. Trees rely on this hidden foundation to remain upright through wind and storm. The deeper the roots, the calmer the tree stands above. As you listen, imagine this quiet world beneath you. Layers of earth holding moisture, fine roots resting without tension, slow exchanges happening continuously. This image naturally grounds the nervous system. Awareness moves downward. The body feels heavier, more supported. Humans often focus only on what can be seen. Forests remind us that the most important processes are often invisible. Calm develops the same way. Stability forms quietly, beneath awareness, long before it appears on the surface. If this grounding perspective feels soothing, take a moment to like the video so others can discover this deeper calm. And stay with this feeling, because roots do not simply anchor trees. In the next section, we'll explore how roots travel farther than branches, extending connection well beyond what the eye can see. When people imagine a tree, attention usually goes upward, toward branches reaching into the sky. Yet beneath the surface, a very different story unfolds. Roots often extend far wider than the branches above, traveling quietly through the soil in all directions. This unseen expansion is not driven by ambition. It is guided by balance. Roots grow slowly, feeling their way through the earth. They follow moisture, nutrients, and stability rather than light or height. Each movement is cautious. If the soil becomes too dry or compact, growth pauses. If conditions improve, exploration continues. Nothing is rushed, nothing is forced. This wide underground reach allows trees to remain steady. A large canopy requires an equally broad foundation. Without it, even the tallest tree would fall. Roots ensure that growth above ground is supported below, creating harmony between visibility and invisibility. As you listen, notice how this idea settles in your body. Support does not always come from what is obvious. Often, it comes from what quietly extends beyond view. Trees invest deeply before they expand outward. This strategy protects them over long periods of time. Humans are often encouraged to grow quickly and visibly. Forests suggest another approach. Lasting stability comes from widening foundations, not chasing height. Calm strengthens when support systems are allowed to grow patiently. If this perspective feels reassuring, comment "Still here," so others know they are sharing this quiet moment with you. And remain with this thought, because roots do more than anchor. In the next section, we'll explore how roots sense water and direction without eyes, revealing a subtle form of natural intelligence. Roots move through the soil without sight, sound, or awareness as humans understand it. Yet they navigate with remarkable precision. They sense moisture gradients, temperature shifts, and subtle chemical changes, adjusting direction slowly and patiently. This is not guessing. It is responsiveness refined over time. When water is scarce, roots do not panic. They extend gently toward areas that feel slightly cooler or more humid. Growth angles shift by small degrees, guided by signals so quiet they would be missed by anything moving quickly. This sensitivity allows trees to survive long dry periods without exhausting themselves. There is no central command telling roots where to go. Each part responds locally, moment by moment. This decentralized intelligence prevents overreaction. If one path dries out, another continues. Balance is maintained through many small adjustments rather than one dramatic move. As you listen, notice how calming this approach feels. Nothing depends on a single decision. Nothing collapses if one direction fails. Progress continues through responsiveness, not control. The nervous system recognizes this pattern as safe. Humans often believe clarity comes from seeing everything at once. Roots show another way. Awareness can be distributed. Direction can emerge gradually. Calm grows when decisions are allowed to form quietly. This subtle intelligence reminds us that certainty is not required for movement. Trees do not need a complete picture to proceed. They respond to what is available right now, and that is enough. If this idea feels grounding, take a moment to like the video so others can experience this calm perspective. And stay with this awareness, because roots do not act alone. In the next section, we'll explore the underground partnerships that keep entire forests alive through cooperation. Beneath the forest floor, trees rarely work alone. Their roots form quiet partnerships with fungi, creating shared systems that support the entire ecosystem. These partnerships are built slowly, through proximity and trust, not dominance. Each side offers something the other needs, and balance is maintained through cooperation rather than control. Fungal networks extend far beyond individual roots, acting as gentle bridges between trees. Through these pathways, nutrients, water, and signals move calmly from one place to another. A tree with excess resources can share with one experiencing difficulty. Support flows toward imbalance until stability returns. Nothing in this exchange is urgent. It happens continuously, in small amounts, guided by conditions rather than intention. This steady cooperation allows forests to remain resilient even when environments change. When one tree struggles, the system adjusts quietly to protect the whole. As you listen, consider how calming this kind of partnership feels. No single tree carries the responsibility of survival alone. Pressure is distributed. Strength becomes collective. The nervous system responds positively to this idea, releasing tension tied to isolation. Humans often associate independence with strength. Forests suggest that interdependence creates greater stability. Support does not weaken the system, it reinforces it. Calm grows where cooperation replaces competition. You may notice a sense of reassurance settling in. The idea that life can be supported quietly without demands allows the mind to rest. Forests thrive not because everything goes well, but because help is always nearby. If this understanding feels comforting, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue exploring these gentle patterns. And stay with this thought, because underground partnerships also carry warnings. In the next section, we'll explore how trees alert each other to danger without fear or panic. In a forest, danger is never announced with alarm. Trees respond to threats quietly, sharing information in ways that protect without creating panic. When insects arrive or conditions shift toward harm, trees release subtle chemical signals through roots and air. These signals do not demand immediate action, they invite preparation. Nearby trees receive these messages and respond gradually. Leaves may strengthen, defenses may increase, growth may slow to conserve energy. Everything happens with restraint. The goal is not to fight aggressively, but to remain balanced and protected. This calm response prevents unnecessary stress across the system. What makes this process remarkable is its gentleness. Trees do not overreact. They do not drain resources out of fear. They adjust just enough to stay safe. This approach allows forests to survive repeated challenges without exhausting themselves. As you listen, notice how reassuring this feels. Danger does not have to mean chaos. Awareness can exist without anxiety. The nervous system understands this instinctively. When information arrives slowly and clearly, the body stays calm. Humans often experience warning as pressure. Forests experience it as guidance. Trees prepare without panic, trusting that measured responses are enough. This trust keeps the system stable over long periods. You may feel your breathing remains steady. As this idea settles, calm does not mean ignoring threats. It means responding wisely. Trees model this balance perfectly, protecting themselves while preserving peace. If this perspective feels soothing, comment calm so others know they share this experience. And stay with this sense of balance, because protection in forests is never individual. In the next section, we'll explore why ancient trees share more than they take and how generosity strengthens survival. Ancient trees have survived long enough to learn an important truth. Taking more than needed weakens the system that supports life. Instead of hoarding resources, older trees often share them. Through underground networks, they pass nutrients and water to younger or struggling trees, especially during difficult seasons. This sharing is not sacrifice, it is balance. By supporting others, ancient trees stabilize their environment. A healthier forest protects every tree within it. When younger trees grow stronger, soil remains intact, moisture is retained, and harmful extremes are softened. Generosity becomes a form of self-preservation spread across time. Nothing about this exchange is emotional or dramatic. It happens quietly, guided by natural signals rather than intention. Trees do not calculate loss or gain. They respond to imbalance and restore it gently. Over centuries, this pattern proves more sustainable than competition. As you listen, notice how this idea affects your sense of calm. The pressure to protect everything alone begins to loosen. Support does not always require effort. Sometimes it is built into the system itself. Forests remind us that stability grows when resources circulate rather than accumulate. Humans are often taught that survival depends on taking advantage. Trees show another path. Survival can depend on contribution. Calm deepens when there is trust that giving does not lead to depletion. You may feel a quiet reassurance here. Sharing does not weaken roots. It strengthens them collectively. Ancient trees endure because they are part of something larger than themselves. If this lesson feels meaningful, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue this slow exploration and stay with this sense of quiet generosity, because beneath the soil lies something even older. In the next section, we'll explore how soil itself acts as a keeper of memory across centuries. Soil is more than a surface for roots to pass through. It is a layered archive, holding traces of everything that has lived, grown, and changed above it. Long after trees fall and forests shift, the soil remembers. It carries minerals, organic matter, and subtle patterns shaped by time, weather, and life itself. Each layer of soil forms slowly. Leaves settle, decompose, and return nutrients to the ground. Roots leave behind pathways. Water moves minerals downward, reshaping structure gently over years and centuries. Nothing is erased. Everything is transformed. The past becomes part of the foundation for what grows next. This quiet memory allows forests to recover again and again. After fire, storm, or drought, the soil still holds the conditions needed for renewal. Seeds recognize familiar chemistry. Roots follow old channels. Life resumes without needing to start over. As you listen, imagine the ground beneath a forest holding countless seasons at once. Calm winters, bright summers, years of abundance and years of scarcity, all layered together. This image grounds the nervous system. It reminds the body that continuity exists even through change. Humans often fear forgetting or being forgotten. Soil teaches a different lesson. Memory does not need to be conscious to be meaningful. What has passed still supports what is present. Stability grows from accumulated experience, not perfection. You may feel a quiet sense of reassurance here. Even difficult moments leave something useful behind. Nothing is wasted. Forests thrive because their foundations remember. If this perspective feels steadying, take a moment to like the video so others can find this calm. And stay with this thought, because memory beneath the soil influences everything above. In the next section, we'll explore why disturbing roots disrupts calm across the entire forest. Roots are the quiet stabilizers of a forest. They hold soil in place, regulate water flow, and maintain balance beneath the surface. When roots remain undisturbed, everything above them benefits. Trees stand calmly, growth stays measured, the forest breathes evenly. But when roots are disrupted, calm begins to fade. Disturbance breaks communication pathways. Shared resources become uneven. Soil loosens, allowing water to rush instead of settle. Trees must redirect energy toward repair rather than growth. This shift does not happen dramatically, but its effects spread slowly across the system. Balance weakens before it visibly fails. What makes this important is how subtle the change can be. From above, the forest may look unchanged for a long time. Yet beneath the surface, tension increases. Stability depends on what cannot be seen. Calm depends on foundations remaining intact. As you listen, notice how this idea resonates with your own sense of balance. When internal foundations are disturbed, calm becomes harder to access. Not because something is wrong, but because energy is being used to stabilize. Rest requires support. Forests remind us that care begins below awareness. Protecting roots protects everything else. Gentle environments allow systems to relax rather than defend themselves. Calm emerges when stability is preserved quietly. You may feel a deeper respect for what lies unseen. The most important work often happens where attention rarely goes. Forests stay peaceful, not by ignoring disruption, but by minimizing it at the source. If this insight feels meaningful, comment "listening" so others know they are here with you, and remain with this calm, because roots influence more than forests. In the next section, we'll explore what human minds share with root networks and why connection supports healing. Human minds and tree roots share more similarities than they appear to at first glance. Neither functions as a single, centralized point. Instead, both rely on networks. Thoughts, like roots, spread outward through many pathways at once. Stability comes not from one strong connection, but from many gentle ones working together. In forests, if one root path is damaged, others compensate. Support reroots. Balance is maintained without panic. Human minds work in a similar way. When one area becomes overwhelmed, connection with others helps restore calm. Isolation increases stress, connection softens it. Roots do not hold everything at once. Each section responds to what is nearby. This distributed awareness prevents overload. Human nervous systems respond well to the same pattern. Calm increases when attention is spread gently rather than fixed tightly on one concern. As you listen, notice how reassuring this comparison feels. You do not need to carry everything in one place. Support can come from multiple directions. Stability does not require constant control. It emerges from connection. Forests heal through networks, not force. Human minds recover the same way. When connection is present, tension releases naturally. Awareness becomes spacious rather than compressed. Calm becomes easier to access. You may feel a sense of relief here. The idea that strength comes from connection allows the body to rest. Just as roots share resources, humans benefit from shared understanding, shared presence, and shared calm. If this idea feels supportive, take a moment to like the video so others can experience this sense of connection. And stay with this thought, because there is one more insight to complete this chapter. In the next section, we'll uncover the second secret hidden underground, a quiet truth about unseen strength. Beneath the forest floor, the second secret reveals itself slowly. Strength forms long before it is visible. Roots grow in darkness without recognition, without certainty that their effort will ever be seen. Yet this unseen work determines everything that follows. What stands tall above ground depends entirely on what develops quietly below. Trees do not rush this process. They invest time when no one is watching. Roots explore carefully, retreat when necessary, and return when conditions improve. There is no urgency to appear strong. Stability is built first. Visibility comes later, naturally. This hidden preparation protects trees through storms and seasons of stress. When strong winds arrive, trees do not panic. Their roots already know how to hold. What looks like calm above ground is the result of deep preparation beneath it. As you listen, notice how this idea settles into your body. There is permission here to grow quietly. You do not need immediate results to be valid. Progress can happen in silence. Strength does not require performance. Humans often measure growth by what others can see. Forests offer a different measure. What matters most develops out of sight, shaped by patience and care. Calm grows the same way. It begins beneath awareness, formed through repeated moments of stability. You may feel a sense of reassurance here. Even when nothing seems to be changing, foundations can be strengthening. This quiet work is not wasted. It is essential. If this understanding feels grounding, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue this journey. And stay with this calm, because beneath the forest's silence lies endless wisdom. In the next chapter, we will rise upward again, exploring how trunks and rings reveal patience written into time itself. Tree trunks grow without sound, without visible motion, and without interruption. Day after day, year after year, layers form so slowly they cannot be observed in real time. This silence is not emptiness, it is concentration. Growth happens quietly because nothing is being forced. A tree does not announce its progress. It does not rush to show results. Instead, it builds strength evenly, distributing weight and pressure with care. Each new layer settles gently around the last, reinforcing what already exists. Silence allows attention to remain inward, focused on balance rather than speed. This quiet process protects the tree. Sudden growth would create weakness. Loud change would disrupt structure. By growing silently, trunks maintain integrity. Nothing fractures, nothing strains. Stability deepens gradually. As you listen, notice how calming this idea feels. There is no demand to prove growth, no requirement to be seen improving. The body relaxes when progress is allowed to happen privately. Silence removes pressure. Human nervous systems respond to this pattern instinctively. Loud environments signal urgency. Quiet environments signals safety. A silent forest trunk tells the body that nothing needs immediate reaction. Time is available. Space is available. You may feel your thoughts slowing here, becoming less sharp and more rounded. This is attention settling into rhythm. Trees grow best when undisturbed. Minds rest best the same way. If this moment feels grounding, take a moment to like the video so others can find this calm, and stay with this silence, because within it lies a record of time itself. In the next section, we'll explore how tree rings act as quiet diaries, preserving years of survival inside wood. Inside every tree trunk lies a quiet record of endurance. Tree rings form one layer at a time, each one marking a year of life lived fully, whether conditions were gentle or difficult. These rings are not created to be read. They exist simply as evidence that time passed and growth continued. Wide rings reflect years of abundance when sunlight, water, and warmth were available in balance. Narrow rings tell a different story. They speak of drought, cold, or limited resources, yet both kinds of rings belong equally to the tree's structure. Nothing is removed, nothing is hidden. Survival is recorded honestly. Trees do not judge their difficult years. They do not try to erase them. Instead, they grow around them. Each ring strengthens the trunk, adding resilience regardless of how it formed. Over time, the tree becomes a living archive of adaptation rather than perfection. As you listen, notice how comforting this idea feels. Life does not need to be smooth to be meaningful. Progress does not require ideal conditions. The nervous system relaxes when struggle is allowed to exist without being labeled as failure. Humans often separate growth from hardship. Trees combine them. Their strength comes from including every season, not avoiding the hard ones. This acceptance creates stability that lasts far longer than temporary success. You may feel a quiet sense of validation here. Your own challenging moments can become part of your foundation rather than something to overcome quickly. Trees remind us that survival itself is worthy of record. If this perspective resonates, comment "Still listening" so others know they are sharing this calm space. And stay with this thought, because not all growth is even. In the next section, we'll explore what uneven growth really means and why it often creates the strongest trees. When people imagine healthy growth, they often picture symmetry and balance. In trees, growth rarely looks perfect. Rings shift slightly, trunks lean, one side may thicken more than another. This uneven growth is not a flaw. It is a response to reality. Trees grow toward light, away from obstacles, and against prevailing winds. When conditions are uneven, growth adjusts to compensate. Extra wood forms where support is needed most. What appears irregular from the outside is often what keeps the tree standing for centuries. Uneven growth tells a story of adaptation. It shows where pressure existed and how it was met. Rather than breaking under stress, the tree reshaped itself. This flexibility creates strength that uniform growth could never provide. As you listen, notice how this idea softens internal expectations. Life rarely unfolds evenly. Challenges arrive from different directions at different times. Trees remind us that adjusting does not mean failing. It means responding wisely. The nervous system relaxes when perfection is no longer required. Unevenness becomes acceptable. Balance is dynamic, not fixed. Stability comes from constant adjustment rather than rigid form. Many of the oldest trees carry visible signs of uneven growth. They stand because of it, not despite it. Their trunks tell stories of storms survived and light chased patiently over time. You may feel a sense of relief here. Growth does not need to look ideal to be strong. It needs to be responsive. Trees endure because they adapt continuously, not because they remain unchanged. If this perspective feels freeing, take a moment to like the video so others can find this calm reframing. And stay with this idea, because adaptation leads to healing. In the next section, we'll explore how trees heal without removing scars, and why continuing matters more than erasing the past. When a tree is damaged, it does not try to erase the wound. There is no attempt to return to how things were before. Instead, the tree continues growing around the injury, slowly enclosing it within new layers of wood. The scar remains, but it no longer weakens the structure. Healing happens through continuation, not removal. This process takes time. Growth shifts direction slightly, adding strength where it is needed most. The damaged area becomes part of the tree's story rather than something separate. Over the years, the scar fades into the background, supported by healthy layers built patiently around it. Trees understand something deeply important. Damage does not end growth, it redirects it. Energy moves toward stability rather than perfection. By accepting the presence of scars, trees preserve their integrity and remain standing through future storms. As you listen, notice how this idea feels in your body. There is relief in realizing that healing does not require forgetting. Past difficulties do not need to disappear for calm to return. They can be supported, held, and integrated. Human nervous systems often tighten around unresolved experiences. Trees model another response. They allow life to continue gently without revisiting the injury again and again. Attention shifts forward while care surrounds what remains. You may feel a quiet sense of permission here. Scars do not disqualify growth. They coexist with it. Trees survive because they keep growing, not because they undo what happened. If this lesson feels grounding, comment "present" so others know they are here with you, and stay with this calm understanding, because healing leads to stability. In the next section, we'll explore why thickness matters more than height, and how strength is built inward before reaching outward. In forests, height often draws attention, but longevity depends on thickness. Tall trees that grow too quickly without strengthening their trunks become vulnerable. Wind, weight, and time test structure more than appearance. Ancient trees learned this balance early. Before reaching upward, they grew inward, reinforcing themselves layer by layer. Thickness provides stability. A wider trunk distributes stress evenly, allowing the tree to bend without breaking. This internal strength supports everything above it. Height may change with seasons, but thickness determines survival across centuries. Trees that stop growing taller are not failing. They are prioritizing endurance. Once a tree reaches sufficient access to light, upward growth slows. Energy shifts towards strengthening the core. This decision preserves balance rather than chasing visibility. As you listen, notice how calming this perspective feels. Modern life often rewards visible progress. Trees suggest another measure. What cannot be seen may matter more. Strength built quietly supports life far longer than rapid expansion. The nervous system relaxes when pressure to constantly rise is released. Stability becomes the goal rather than comparison. Trees remain calm because They are grounded in their own structure, not competing for height. You may feel a sense of reassurance here. Progress does not require constant upward movement. It requires reinforcement. Trees endure because they know when enough is enough. If this reframing feels supportive, take a moment to like the video so others can experience this calm shift. And stay with this idea, because strength alone is not enough. In the next section, we'll explore the balance between flexibility and strength and how trees survive storms by yielding rather than resisting. Strength in a forest does not come from rigidity. Trees survive storms by bending rather than resisting. When strong winds arrive, trunks sway, branches shift, and leaves move with the force instead of against it. This flexibility prevents breakage and preserves structure over time. Wood is designed to absorb stress gradually. Fibers stretch slightly, distributing pressure across the trunk. This allows trees to remain upright even during powerful storms. Resistance would cause snapping. Yielding allows survival. Flexibility becomes an essential part of strength. As you listen, notice how calming this idea feels. The body often holds tension in an attempt to stay strong. Trees demonstrate another approach. Strength can exist alongside softness. Stability does not require stiffness. The nervous system responds positively to flexibility. When muscles release, energy flows more freely. The mind relaxes when it no longer braces constantly. Trees remain calm during storms because they trust their ability to move and recover. This balance develops over time. Young trees that cannot bend often break. Older trees shaped by years of wind learn how to yield safely. Experience builds adaptability. You may feel a sense of relief here. You do not need to resist everything to remain intact. Allowing movement can protect you. Trees survive because they adapt continuously rather than holding rigid form. If this lesson resonates, comment "calm" so others know they are sharing this space, and stay with this understanding because storms shape wisdom. In the next section, we'll explore why older trees are often the calmest and how time itself teaches steadiness. Older trees move differently through the world. They respond more slowly, not because they are weak, but because they no longer need to react to everything. Over decades and centuries, they have learned which forces matter and which will pass on their own. This quiet discernment creates calm. Time has shaped their structure. Their roots are deeper, their trunks are thicker, their branches are balanced by experience. Storms that might threaten younger trees barely disturb them, not because the storms are smaller, but because the trees are steadier. As trees age, growth slows naturally. Energy is no longer spent chasing height or speed. It is invested in maintenance, balance, and resilience. This shift reduces internal strain. Calm becomes the default state rather than something to return to. As you listen, notice how comforting this idea feels. There is permission here to slow down with time. Constant urgency is not required forever. Stability increases when responses become selective. The nervous system responds well to this model. Calm deepens when everything does not feel equally important. Older trees show that wisdom is knowing when not to react. Silence replaces struggle. Presence replaces urgency. You may feel a sense of reassurance here. Calm does not mean disengagement. It means confidence built through experience. Trees do not fear storms. They have survived many times before. If this reflection feels grounding, take a moment to like the video so others can share this calm. and stay with this understanding because age brings insight. In the next section, we'll explore what tree geometry teaches about balance and how nature distributes weight with quiet precision. Trees grow according to quiet geometric principles that prioritize balance over perfection. Branches spread in patterns that distribute weight evenly. Trunks thicken where pressure is greatest. Roots mirror what happens above, extending outward to counterbalance height. Nothing is random. Everything responds to gravity, wind, and time with careful adjustment. This natural geometry is not calculated consciously. It emerges from continuous feedback between the tree and its environment. When one side carries more weight, growth compensates. When light shifts, branches realign. Balance is never fixed. It is constantly maintained through small corrections. As you listen, notice how calming this idea feels. Balance does not require stillness. It requires responsiveness. Trees remain upright because they are always adjusting, never locked into one position. Stability comes from movement that is slow and intentional. Human minds often search for perfect balance, believing it must be achieved and held. Trees suggest something gentler. Balance is a process, not a state. It shifts naturally as conditions change. Calm grows when flexibility replaces control. The nervous system responds well to this approach. When balance is allowed to adjust, tension decreases. There is no need to hold everything in place. Support redistributes itself. You may feel a quiet sense of ease here. Life does not need to feel symmetrical to be stable. Trees thrive with asymmetry, guided by awareness rather than rigidity. Their geometry is alive, adaptive, and forgiving. If this perspective feels settling, comment "listening" so others know they are here with you. And stay with this idea because balance continues to evolve. In the next section, we'll explore what happens when growth slows and why wisdom often deepens when progress becomes quieter. As trees mature, their growth naturally slows. Rings become thinner. Height increases less noticeably. From the outside, it may appear that progress has faded. In reality, something else is happening. Energy is shifting inward toward refinement rather than expansion. Wisdom deepens when growth becomes quiet. Slower growth allows trees to strengthen what already exists. Wood becomes denser. Structure stabilizes, responses become more measured. Nothing needs to be rushed anymore. Survival no longer depends on speed, but on understanding patterns learned over time. As you listen, notice how comforting this idea feels. Modern life often treats slowing down as loss. Forests show it as transition. When urgency fades, clarity has space to appear. Attention widens. Decisions become simpler. The nervous system responds positively to this phase. Reduced stimulation allows recovery. The mind no longer strains toward what comes next. Presence becomes easier. Calm settles naturally when there is no pressure to accelerate. Trees that have slowed their growth are often the most resilient. They have learned how much is enough. They no longer chase light aggressively because they already know where it moves. This familiarity creates confidence. You may feel a sense of permission here. It is acceptable to move more slowly. Progress does not disappear when pace decreases. It transforms into something steadier and more sustainable. Wisdom in forests is not loud. It arrives gradually, carried by years of adjustment and observation. Growth continues, but it no longer demands attention. If this understanding feels grounding, Take a moment to like the video so others can find this calm space. And stay with this reflection, because there is one final insight written in wood itself. In the next section, we'll uncover the third secret trees reveal about progress, patience, and time layered gently together. The third secret trees reveal is written quietly into their wood, layer by layer. Progress is not a single movement forward. It is an accumulation of small, patient moments stacked gently over time. Each ring builds upon the last, not to rush ahead, but to remain stable. Trees do not measure success by speed. They measure it by continuity. As long as growth continues, even slowly, life is being sustained. This layered approach protects trees from collapse. Nothing depends on one strong year. Strength comes from many modest ones combined. As you listen, notice how calming this idea feels. There is no demand here to make everything happen at once. Progress does not need to be dramatic to be real. Small, consistent effort shapes something far stronger than sudden change. Human minds often search for breakthroughs. Trees rely on follow-through. They show that patience is not passive. It is active endurance. Each season contributes something, even if the change is barely visible. The nervous system relaxes when progress is no longer urgent. Pressure softens. Attention becomes steady. Calm grows when expectations align with natural pacing rather than artificial deadlines. You may feel a quiet sense of relief here. Time does not need to be conquered. It can be partnered with. Trees survive centuries because they allowed time to work with them, not against them. This is the third lesson written in wood. Progress layered gently becomes permanence. Strength grows not by force, but by repetition and care. If this understanding feels meaningful, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue this journey and remain with this calm, because the forest has more to share. In the next chapter, we'll rise into leaves and light, exploring how breathing forests teach the body how to rest deeply and naturally. Long before forests looked the way they do today, plants discovered a quiet relationship with light. Leaves emerged not as decorations but as gentle receivers, shaped to catch sunlight without taking more than needed. This simple ability changed life on Earth, allowing forests to grow calmly, steadily, and sustainably. Leaves do not chase light aggressively. They open themselves to it. Their wide, thin surfaces absorb energy softly, transforming sunlight into nourishment without heat or force. This process happens continuously, without sound, without effort. Light arrives and leaves respond. As you listen, imagine early forests learning this rhythm for the first time. Light filtering down, leaves adjusting their angle slightly, finding balance between exposure and protection. Too much light would damage them. Too little would slow growth. Calm exists in this middle space. This balance is deeply reassuring to the nervous system. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is overwhelmed. Leaves accept what is available and adjust gently. They do not hold on to light once it is passed. They remain open for the next moment. Human minds often tense around effort, believing more energy must be captured or controlled. Leaves offer another lesson. Receiving calmly can be more powerful than striving. Growth can occur without strain. You may notice a sense of ease here. The idea of opening rather than pushing allows attention to soften. Calm becomes possible when resistance fades. If this image feels peaceful, take a moment to like the video so others can find this gentle rhythm. And stay with this openness, because light does more than nourish leaves. In the next section, we'll explore how forests breathe without lungs, shaping air and calm through quiet exchange. Forests breathe in a way that is slow, steady, and continuous. There are no lungs expanding and contracting, yet exchange is always happening. Leaves absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen quietly, shaping the air over time. This breathing does not pause. It follows light, temperature, and season without effort. Each leaf participates in this exchange. Together, millions of leaves create a rhythm so gentle it often goes unnoticed. Air moves calmly through branches. Moisture rises and settles. The forest maintains balance through countless small interactions rather than dramatic movement. As you listen, notice how this idea naturally connects to your own breathing. There is no need to control it. When environments feel safe, breath regulates itself. Forests offer that same safety signal. Nothing here demands urgency. Nothing interrupts suddenly. This natural breathing pattern calms the nervous system. Steady air exchange lowers stress responses. The body recognizes this rhythm as familiar and grounding. Over time, attention drifts inward, following the slow rise and fall of awareness. Human breathing often becomes shallow under pressure. Forests restore depth through atmosphere rather than instruction. Calm air invites calm breath. Nothing is forced. Nothing is measured. You may feel your breath becoming smoother as you listen. This is alignment happening quietly. Forests shape calm by creating conditions where relaxation is possible, not required. If this awareness feels soothing, comment "breathing" so others know they are here with you. And remain with this rhythm because breath connects movement and rest. In the next section, we'll explore why watching leaves move calms the human brain and how gentle motion supports mental quiet. Watching leaves move in the wind has a quiet effect on the human brain. The motion is slow, irregular, and gentle, never sharp or demanding. This kind of movement signals safety. Nothing is chasing, nothing is about to collide. The brain relaxes because it does not need to predict or defend. Leaves move without intention. They respond naturally to air, shifting back and forth in patterns that never repeat exactly. This soft unpredictability keeps attention lightly engaged without creating tension. The mind rests in observation rather than analysis. Neuroscience shows that repetitive, gentle motion reduces overactivity in the brain. Leaves provide this naturally. Their movement is complex enough to hold attention, yet calm enough to release control. This balance allows thoughts to slow and spread out rather than cluster tightly. As you listen, imagine looking up through branches and watching light flicker as leaves pass in front of it. The motion is continuous but never rushed. Your eyes would not need to focus on any single leaf. Awareness could drift freely. This visual rhythm helps the nervous system downshift. Muscles soften. Breathing deepens. The brain moves away from problem solving and toward rest. Calm emerges without effort. Human environments often contain fast, linear motion that demands reaction. Forests offer circular flowing motion that invites relaxation. Leaves sway. Light shifts. Nothing stops suddenly. You may feel a quiet sense of ease as this idea settles. Gentle movement does not disturb calm, it supports it. Trees have known this for a very long time. If this feels relaxing, take a moment to like the video so others can find this gentle calm. And stay with this softness, because movement leads into light. In the next section, we'll explore how forest light patterns signal safety to the nervous system. Light in a forest behaves differently than light in open spaces. It arrives gently, filtered through layers of leaves and branches. Instead of striking sharply, it breaks into soft patterns that move slowly across the ground. This kind of light feels safe to the nervous system because it carries no urgency. Dappled light creates contrast without harshness. Brightness and shadow blend smoothly, allowing the eyes to relax. There are no sudden flashes, no overwhelming glare. The brain interprets this environment as stable and predictable, even though it is constantly changing. As you listen, imagine sunlight drifting through a canopy above you. Shapes shift gradually. Shadows slide across tree trunks and forest floor. Nothing demands focus. Your vision can remain wide and unfixed. This openness allows the mind to rest. Humans evolved in environments like this. Soft light meant shelter. It meant protection from exposure and danger. The body still responds to these signals today. When light feels gentle, the nervous system reduces alertness and allows calm to deepen. Indoor lighting often lacks this complexity. It is flat, static, and intense. Forest light is layered and alive. It changes slowly, never startling the senses. This rhythm lowers mental tension and supports relaxation. You may feel your eyes wanting to close or soften as this image settles. There is no need to stay vigilant. Light is not threatening here. It is supportive. If this sense of safety feels comforting, comment "listening" so others know they share this moment. And stay with this calm awareness because light also teaches release. In the next section, we'll explore why leaves let go without resistance and how release becomes part of renewal. When seasons change, leaves do not cling to what they were meant to release. As light shortens and temperatures shift, trees begin a quiet process of letting go. Nutrients are gently withdrawn from leaves, stored safely within branches and trunks. Only then do leaves fall. Nothing is sudden. Nothing is wasted. This release is not loss. It is preparation. Letting go allows trees to conserve energy during colder months, reducing strain and preserving stability. Leaves fall because they are no longer needed, not because they failed. Their role has simply changed. As you listen, notice how calming this process feels. There is no struggle here. Trees do not resist natural endings. They trust cycles they have lived through countless times. Release becomes part of survival rather than something to fear. The nervous system responds gently to this idea. Humans often hold on to what has already served its purpose, creating tension. Trees demonstrate that letting go can be quiet and intentional. Nothing collapses when release is timed with care. Fallen leaves return to the soil, enriching it slowly. What is released continues to support life in a new form. Renewal begins the moment. Letting go occurs. Forests remain abundant because nothing is truly discarded. You may feel a sense of ease here. Endings do not have to be dramatic. They can be calm, useful, and purposeful. Trees let go without regret because they trust what comes next. If this lesson feels reassuring, take a moment to like the video so others can find this peaceful understanding and stay with this calm release because sound follows gently after. In the next section, we'll explore how the sound of leaves becomes natural white noise, supporting deep rest and relaxation. The sound of leaves moving in a forest is never sharp or demanding. It arrives softly, layered and uneven, blending into the background rather than standing apart. This gentle rustling creates a form of natural white noise, one that calms the nervous system without asking for attention. Unlike mechanical sounds, leaf movement has no rigid pattern. Each breeze creates a slightly different rhythm. This variability prevents the brain from locking on to repetition, allowing attention to drift instead of fixating. The mind relaxes because it does not need to interpret or predict what comes next. As you listen, imagine sitting quietly while leaves move overhead. The sound rises and fades, never stopping completely, never becoming overwhelming. It fills silence without interrupting it. This balance is deeply soothing. The brain associates it with safety and continuity. Research shows that gentle, irregular sound reduces mental overactivity. Forests provide this naturally. There are no sudden alarms, no abrupt changes in volume. Everything arrives gradually and leaves just as gently. This supports deep relaxation and prepares the mind for rest. Human environments often contain sharp noises that trigger alertness. Forest sounds do the opposite. They signal that nothing urgent is happening. Muscles release, breathing slows, awareness softens. You may notice a sense of comfort settling in as this idea forms. Sound does not have to demand response. It can simply exist, supporting calm without instruction. If this feels relaxing, comment "still listening" so others know they are sharing this quiet space. And stay with this gentle soundscape because it leads into shelter. In the next section, we'll explore how forest canopies protect without closing in, creating safety without confinement. Forest canopies create a sense of shelter without confinement. Branches and leaves spread overhead, forming a wide open ceiling that filters light, wind, and rain. This protection does not feel heavy or restrictive. Air still moves freely. Space remains open. Safety is offered without pressure. Canopies soften extremes. Harsh sunlight becomes gentle. Strong winds lose their force. Rain slows into a quiet rhythm. These adjustments happen naturally, without barriers or walls. The forest remains breathable, allowing movement and openness while maintaining comfort. As you listen, imagine standing beneath a broad canopy. Light drifts through in soft layers. The space above feels expansive, not crowded. There is no sense of being trapped. Instead, there is reassurance that conditions are moderated, not controlled. The nervous system responds positively to this balance. Humans relax when they feel protected, yet free. Environments that are too enclosed create tension. Environments that are too exposed increase alertness. Forest canopies offer the middle ground where calm settles easily. This gentle shelter allows attention to rest without vigilance. Nothing overhead threatens. Nothing demands escape. The body recognizes this as a safe place to pause. You may feel your shoulders drop slightly as this image forms. Protection does not need to be rigid. Support can exist alongside openness. Trees demonstrate how to offer safety without limiting growth. If this feeling resonates, take a moment to like the video so others can experience this quiet comfort and stay with this sense of shelter, because canopies also adjust to change. In the next section, we'll explore how forests adapt to the sun's shifting angle and what that teaches us about flexibility over time. Forests are constantly adjusting to the sun, though the change is almost impossible to notice in any single moment. As seasons shift, the angle of sunlight changes, and leaves respond quietly. They tilt, turn, and reposition themselves over time, finding balance between receiving light and avoiding strain. Nothing is abrupt. Everything is gradual. This adjustment happens without awareness or effort. Leaves do not resist the sun's movement. They respond to it. When light becomes intense, they angle away slightly. When light grows weaker, they open more fully. This responsiveness protects the tree while allowing growth to continue steadily. As you listen, notice how calming this idea feels. There is no insistence on remaining the same. Change is met with small corrections rather than large reactions. The nervous system recognizes this pattern as safe. Adaptation becomes gentle instead of stressful. Humans often tense when conditions shift, trying to hold on to familiar positions. Forests show another way. Flexibility does not require constant attention. It unfolds naturally when pressure is released. Calm is maintained not by control, but by responsiveness. You may feel a quiet sense of reassurance here. Life does not need to be approached with rigid plans. Adjustment can happen slowly in response to what is actually happening rather than what is feared. Trees remain healthy because they cooperate with change instead of opposing it. Their relationship with the sun is ongoing and fluid. Balance is renewed again and again. If this perspective feels soothing, comment present so others know they are sharing this calm moment, and stay with this gentle adaptability because shade plays an important role in rest. In the next section, we'll explore why shade encourages stillness and how reduced stimulation prepares the mind for deep calm. Shade in a forest is not darkness. It is a softened state where stimulation is reduced without disappearing. Light becomes gentler, temperatures cool slightly, and movement slows. This environment naturally invites stillness. Nothing needs immediate attention. The body recognizes this as a place to rest. Shade limits excess input. Bright light often increases alertness, keeping the nervous system active. In shade, the eyes relax, muscles loosen, the mind no longer scans constantly. Awareness widens and settles instead of focusing sharply on details. As you listen, imagine stepping from sunlight into a shaded area beneath tall trees. The change is subtle but noticeable. Breathing deepens, thoughts slow. There is no sense of urgency. This transition signals the body that it can pause safely. Forests use shade strategically. Young plants grow under it, protected while they strengthen. Animals rest within it. Shade preserves moisture and reduces stress on living systems. Calm thrives where stimulation is balanced. Humans respond the same way. Environments with moderated input allow the nervous system to recover. Stillness does not mean inactivity. It means reduced demand. This creates space for restoration and clarity. You may feel a heaviness in your body now, a comfortable settling. This is not fatigue, it is relaxation. Shade allows systems to reset without forcing sleep or effort. Trees understand that rest is essential for longevity. Shade provides that rest quietly and consistently. Calm deepens when nothing pushes for response. If this stillness feels comforting, take a moment to like the video so others can discover this gentle pause. And stay with this calm, because stillness prepares the mind for insight. In the next section, we'll uncover the fourth secret floating in the canopy, a truth about effort, ease, and lasting calm. High in the canopy, where leaves move gently and light drifts without force, the fourth secret becomes clear. Calm flows most easily when effort softens. Trees do not hold themselves tense to remain upright. They rely on balance, structure, and trust built over time. Ease is not accidental, it is cultivated. The canopy does not push against the sky. It opens into it. Leaves spread comfortably, allowing air and light to pass through. This openness prevents strain. When storms arrive, the canopy yields just enough to protect what lies below. Nothing is rigid. Nothing is careless. As you listen, notice how this idea feels in your body. There is permission here to release unnecessary effort. Calm does not require constant control. It appears when systems are allowed to work as designed without interference. Human minds often tense around the idea of maintaining peace. Forests show that peace is maintained through cooperation, not force. When effort relaxes, balance takes over. The nervous system responds immediately, easing vigilance and allowing rest. You may feel a quiet settling now. Thoughts become less sharp. Awareness softens around the edges. This is not loss of focus. It is a deeper form of attention, one that does not strain. The canopy floats because it trusts what supports it. Roots hold firm. Trunks remain steady. Leaves move freely. Calm exists because each part does its role without excess. If this understanding feels helpful, take a moment to subscribe so you can continue this gentle journey. And stay with this ease, because the forest has one final lesson ahead. In the next chapter, we'll explore how trees maintain calm across centuries, revealing what lasting peace truly looks like. Some trees remain standing for thousands of years, not because they are invincible, but because they live gently within their limits. Longevity in forests is not achieved through constant growth or resistance. It comes from conservation, patience, and careful response to change. These trees endure by knowing when to act and when to remain still. Ancient trees grow slowly. Their pace protects them. Slow growth creates dense wood, deeper roots, and balanced structures that resist stress over long periods of time. Nothing is rushed. Each year adds only what the tree can safely support. This restraint preserves strength. As you listen, imagine time passing around a tree that barely seems to change. Seasons come and go. Generations rise and disappear. The tree remains because it does not demand more than its environment can offer. It adapts quietly, conserving energy rather than spending it unnecessarily. These trees also avoid extremes. They do not grow too tall. They do not spread too fast. Balance protects them from collapse. By staying within sustainable limits, they remain resilient across centuries of shifting conditions. The nervous system responds calmly to this idea. Survival does not require constant effort. Endurance comes from steady rhythms and thoughtful use of energy. Pressure eases when longevity replaces urgency. You may feel a quiet reassurance here. Life does not need to be intense to be meaningful. Trees that live the longest are often the least dramatic. Their strength is subtle, patient, and deeply rooted. If this perspective feels grounding, take a moment to like the video so others can discover this calm understanding, and stay with this thought, because longevity depends on another quiet habit. In the next section, we'll explore how trees conserve energy instead of chasing growth, and why restraint protects life over time. Trees that endure for centuries do not spend energy recklessly. They conserve it with care, responding to their environment rather than trying to outpace it. Growth is never constant. It happens only when conditions allow it. When resources are limited, trees slow down without struggle or fear. Instead of pushing outward, energy is stored inward. Trees strengthen roots, thicken wood, and repair internal structures during quieter periods. This conservation allows them to survive droughts, cold seasons, and long stretches of scarcity. Nothing is wasted by forcing growth when the environment cannot support it. As you listen, notice how calming this approach feels. There is no urgency here, no pressure to expand endlessly. Trees remain healthy because they respect natural limits. By conserving energy, they protect their future rather than exhausting themselves in the present. Human life often rewards constant motion. Forests show that rest is not inactivity, it is preparation. When energy is preserved, it becomes available later when it matters most. Calm emerges when there is trust that growth will return in its own time. The nervous system responds well to this rhythm. Conservation reduces strain. The body relaxes when it knows it does not have to perform constantly. Stability replaces urgency. You may feel a quiet sense of permission here. Slowing down does not mean falling behind. It means sustaining yourself. Trees live long lives because they know when to pause. If this understanding feels reassuring, comment "still listening" so others know they share this calm moment. And stay with this idea because conserving energy leads to discernment. In the next section, we'll explore why ancient trees ignore most disruptions and how selective attention supports lasting peace. Ancient trees have learned over long stretches of time that not every disturbance deserves a response. Wind passes. Insects arrive briefly. Weather shifts and settles again. Trees that reacted intensely to every change would exhaust themselves. Instead, they respond selectively, conserving energy for what truly matters. This quiet discernment protects longevity. Minor disruptions are absorbed without reaction. Only sustained threats receive attention. By filtering what deserves response, trees remain calm and stable across centuries. Their stillness is not indifference. It is wisdom shaped by experience. As you listen, notice how peaceful this idea feels. The nervous system relaxes when everything does not feel urgent. Attention becomes lighter. The mind stops scanning constantly for problems that may resolve on their own. Human stress often comes from treating every signal as important. Forests suggest another approach. Calm grows when attention is selective. Not everything needs to be addressed. Some things pass naturally when left undisturbed. Trees remain grounded because they trust their structure. Roots hold firm. Trunks are prepared. Leaves adjust gently. This confidence allows them to ignore minor disruptions without fear. Stability replaces vigilance. You may feel a quiet sense of relief here. It is not necessary to react to everything. Peace deepens when awareness becomes discerning rather than reactive. Ancient trees endure because they have learned what to release and what to keep. If this perspective feels soothing, take a moment to like the video so others can discover this calm understanding, and stay with this clarity, because selective attention leads to stillness. In the next section, we'll explore the role of stillness in long-term survival and how doing less can preserve more over time. Stillness is not the absence of life in a forest. It is a strategy that preserves it. Ancient trees spend much of their existence in quiet states, conserving energy, maintaining balance, and allowing internal systems to repair themselves. This stillness supports survival over long periods of time. When growth pauses, trees are not idle. Inside, resources are redistributed. Damaged tissues are reinforced. Roots strengthen their grip on the soil. Stillness creates space for recovery without urgency. Nothing is wasted. Everything is maintained gently. As you listen, notice how calming this idea feels. Modern life often treats stillness as unproductive. Forests show it as essential. Without periods of rest, systems weaken. Longevity depends on knowing when to pause. The nervous system responds immediately to this lesson. Stillness reduces demand. Muscles soften. Breathing deepens. The body recognizes that it does not need to prepare for action. Safety is present. Trees remain alive through centuries because they do not push constantly. They allow time to do its work. Storms pass, seasons change, stillness carries them through transitions without strain. You may feel a quiet reassurance here. You are allowed to rest without explanation. Calm does not need to be justified. Trees survive because they trust cycles rather than fight them. This form of stillness is active care, not withdrawal. It protects structure and preserves energy for moments when response is necessary. Balance is sustained through patience. If this insight feels grounding, comment present so others know they share this calm moment. And stay with this quiet strength because stillness leads to adaptability. In the next section, we'll explore how trees adapt without losing identity, maintaining stability through change. Trees adapt continuously, yet they never lose their essential form. Branches may grow in new directions. Roots may deepen or spread wider. Bark may thicken. Still, the tree remains itself. Adaptation does not erase identity. It protects it. When conditions change, trees respond gradually. If light shifts, branches adjust their reach. If soil becomes compact, roots explore new paths. These changes happen without panic. The tree does not abandon its structure, it refines it. Adaptation becomes a quiet conversation with the environment rather than a struggle against it. As you listen, notice how calming this idea feels. Change does not require becoming someone else. Stability can remain even as behavior shifts. The nervous system relaxes when identity feels secure despite uncertainty. Human stress often comes from fearing that change means loss. Forests show another truth. Growth and adaptation strengthen identity when guided by core structure. Trees bend, but their roots remain anchored. They adjust, but they do not dissolve. Over centuries, this approach preserves balance. Trees survive climate shifts, storms, and seasonal extremes because they allow form to evolve while essence remains intact. Flexibility protects continuity. You may feel a sense of reassurance here. You do not need to abandon yourself to adapt. Calm grows when change is integrated gently, rather than resisted or overcorrected. Trees endure because they know what to adjust and what to preserve. This wisdom allows them to remain steady through time without becoming rigid. Adaptation, when grounded, becomes a source of peace rather than disruption. If this understanding feels comforting, take a moment to like the video so others can find this calm perspective. And stay with this thought, because adaptation leads to recovery. In the next section, we'll explore why forests recover after destruction and how renewal follows even the most difficult events. When destruction moves through a forest, it rarely marks an ending. Fires burn, storms break branches, floods reshape the land. Yet again and again, forests return. Recovery is not rushed, but it is reliable. Renewal is built into the system itself. Seeds often wait quietly in the soil for the right conditions. Some only awaken after heat, pressure, or disturbance. Roots beneath damaged trees may still be alive, ready to send new growth upward. Soil, enriched by fallen material, holds everything needed for life to begin again. What looks like loss becomes preparation. As you listen, notice how steady this process feels. Forests do not panic after destruction. They do not attempt to restore everything at once. Recovery unfolds step by step, guided by availability rather than urgency. This patience protects long-term balance. The nervous system responds gently to this idea. Even after disruption, stability can return. Calm does not disappear permanently when something breaks. It can re-emerge when conditions allow. Forests demonstrate resilience without force. Human minds often fear irreversible damage. Nature offers a different lesson. Renewal follows disruption when systems are allowed to respond naturally. Healing does not need to be immediate to be real. It needs space and time. You may feel a quiet sense of hope here. Even difficult events can create conditions for future stability. Nothing has to be rushed. Recovery honors its own pace. Forests endure because they trust renewal. Destruction is not the opposite of life. It is often part of its cycle. If this understanding feels reassuring, comment "calm" so others know they are sharing this moment. And stay with this sense of renewal because recovery leads to guidance. In the next section, we'll explore the quiet leadership of the oldest trees and how stability spreads through presence alone. In every long-standing forest, the oldest trees rarely dominate by height or force. Their influence is quieter and far more stable. These trees lead simply by remaining present. Their deep roots hold soil in place. Their wide canopies regulate light and moisture. Without effort, they create conditions where others can survive. Younger trees grow in the shelter of these elders. Temperature stays moderated, wind is softened, nutrients circulate more evenly through underground networks. The oldest trees do not compete for attention. Their leadership comes from reliability rather than control. As you listen, notice how calming this model of leadership feels. There is no pressure to direct or correct. Stability spreads naturally from consistency. The nervous system relaxes when guidance does not demand response. Ancient trees have endured enough change to know that presence matters more than reaction. They do not move quickly. They do not overcorrect. Their steadiness allows the forest to regulate itself. Balance forms around them because they do not disappear when conditions become difficult. Human environments often reward loud direction. Forests reward endurance. The oldest trees lead because they remain. They show that calm influence grows stronger over time, not through intensity, but through continuity. You may feel a sense of reassurance here. You do not need to be forceful to be supportive. Sometimes the most stabilizing presence is the one that stays grounded and steady. Forests thrive because their elders hold space without demanding attention. Calm spreads quietly, carried by consistency rather than instruction. If this idea feels grounding, take a moment to like the video so others can discover this calm perspective. And stay with this presence because leadership gives way to alignment. In the next section, we'll explore what happens when humans align with forest time and how slowing perception reshapes experience. When humans align with forest time, something subtle but powerful begins to shift. Perception slows. Moments feel wider. The constant pressure to move forward eases, replaced by a steady awareness of what is already present. Time no longer feels like something to chase. It becomes something to move with. Forest time is measured in cycles, not deadlines. Light changes, seasons return. Growth happens when conditions allow it. When humans tune into this rhythm, the nervous system follows. Stress responses soften. The mind stops anticipating what comes next and rests more fully in what is happening now. As you listen, notice how this idea settles into your body. There is no urgency here, nothing is late, nothing is missing. Alignment with forest time invites patience without effort. Awareness expands instead of tightening. Studies show that time perception slows in natural environments. Minutes feel longer, not because they drag, but because attention becomes fuller. This fullness creates calm. When moments are not rushed, they become easier to inhabit. Human stress often comes from compressing time. Forests stretch it gently. They remind us that life does not need to be efficient to be meaningful. Experience deepens when pace decreases. You may feel a quiet sense of ease now. Aligning with forest time does not mean stopping. It means moving in harmony rather than against the flow. Balance returns naturally when rhythm replaces pressure. Trees have lived this way for centuries. Their calm is not accidental. It is the result of trusting time instead of fighting it. If this reflection feels soothing, comment here so others know they are sharing this moment. And stay with this alignment because clarity follows. In the next section, we'll explore the final lesson, trees never speak aloud, a truth about calm that requires no words. Trees never explain their calm, yet it is always present. The final lesson they offer does not arrive as instruction or advice. It appears through observation. Calm is sustained not by intensity, but by consistency. Trees remain steady because they repeat simple processes over long periods of time without resistance. They grow when conditions allow, they rest when they do not. They adjust without urgency. Nothing about their survival depends on constant effort. Calm emerges naturally when life is allowed to move at a sustainable pace. This is the lesson trees never need to speak. As you listen, notice how this understanding feels. There is relief in realizing that peace does not require constant maintenance. It is supported by routine, rhythm, and trust. The nervous system relaxes when it no longer feels responsible for holding everything together. Human minds often chase calm as an outcome. Forests show it as a byproduct. When actions align with natural limits, calm follows automatically. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be perfected. Trees endure because they do not demand more from themselves than the environment can provide. They accept cycles fully, allowing both growth and rest to belong equally. This balance preserves stability across time. You may feel a quiet settling here. Calm no longer feels distant or fragile. It feels reliable, available, already present beneath effort. This final lesson invites release. Peace does not need to be achieved. It needs to be allowed. Trees demonstrate this truth simply by remaining. If this insight feels meaningful, take a moment to like the video so others can experience this quiet understanding and stay with this calm presence because one final moment remains. In the next section, we'll uncover the last ancient tree secret, bringing this journey gently to completion. The last secret ancient trees offer is not dramatic or complex. It is quiet and steady like the forests themselves. Peace grows when nothing is forced. Trees do not push themselves into calm. They allow calm to emerge by honoring limits, rhythms, and balance. This gentle allowance is what sustains them across centuries. Trees never hurry toward an ending. They exist fully in each season, accepting what arrives and releasing what passes. Growth and rest are treated with equal respect. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is delayed. Life unfolds at a pace that supports continuation rather than exhaustion. As you listen, notice how this final idea settles within you. There is no requirement to change anything in this moment. Calm does not ask for effort. It appears when striving softens and attention rests where it is. The nervous system recognizes this immediately and begins to settle. Human stress often comes from forcing outcomes, emotions, or progress. Forests show that peace is not created through pressure. It is revealed when pressure is removed. Trees remain calm, not because life is easy, but because they cooperate with it rather than resist it. You may feel a deep stillness now. This is not emptiness. It is presence without demand. The forest does not conclude its lesson with instruction. It simply remains, offering an example through existence alone. This is the final ancient tree secret. Calm lasts when it is allowed to grow naturally, without urgency or control. The forest stands as proof. If you have stayed through this journey, take a moment to subscribe and comment "completed" to mark the end of this quiet experience. And remember, the calm you found here is always available just as the forest is, patient, steady, and waiting. As this journey through the ancient forest comes to a close, there is nothing more you need to do. The trees remain standing just as they always have, calm and patient, holding their quiet rhythm whether we are listening or not. The stillness you felt here does not belong to this video alone. It belongs to you. If your eyes are growing heavy, allow them to rest. If your thoughts have slowed, let them drift without direction. Calm does not need to be held onto. It stays when it is welcomed gently. Thank you for spending this time in the forest. If this experience brought you peace, consider subscribing so you can return whenever you need a quiet place to rest your mind. You can also leave a comment sharing which moment felt most calming for you. For now, there is nothing left to learn, nothing left to seek. Just remain here for a while, breathing softly as the forest fades into silence, steady and unchanged, waiting for you whenever you return.